and welcome to the Morning DNA. I'm Aaron Dicer, the man of a single black shirt. She is Danae Hughes, the woman of a million distractions. And we're here to find out what today, August 29th, 2022, is made of. Final Monday in August.
Gosh.
It's going to be September this week.
Hello.
September.
This
Fall.
week.
This week.
I don't know if it's going to be fall. When is fall? What is fall?
It's great. It's a great question.
I'm
Let's
so
ponder
ready
for
for
a second.
Freaking summer to be over with. The hottest summer ever.
Yeah, still in the 90s this week. You know, September.
Can we just stop? Can we stop
September's
it?
going to kick it off in the 90s.
I'm the kind of person who decided to rearrange my microphone and my video and my desk as it went on the timer.
As we're going live.
I think I want to change that. I just walk behind my desk and start messing with things. Sorry, everyone.
To anyone who is aware in the slightest of the amazement that is Danae Hughes, this is not a surprise. Is
it amazing? I don't know. Let's just hold on a second. I gotta.
No, you're good. No, this is great. For the podcast audience, Danae has now completely
Listen. When the things do the
around.
things and they do the things, you gotta stop so that you
we
can
now
do the thing.
have a very clear view of the right part
Nostril.
of her headphones.
My right nostril is front and center. How are you, Dicer?
I'm good. It's interesting. We have this is apropos of nothing, but welcome to the show. I'm still drinking my morning cachava because
It's morning.
Usually I have downed this before the show, but
Oh,
because we have in our ice maker, which is leaking and broken, we have instead substituted Sonic ice. Well, if you know anything about Sonic's ice, there's these little ice pebbles, right? It's almost like dog kibble, but in ice form.
How dare you? No, yeah, you're totally right. It's absolutely like dog kibble.
So it's these little ice pellets. So when I put ice in for my cachava, usually I put like 4 or 5 ice cubes, and then I fill the rest with water, and the temperature is, pretty good. But when it's these little pellets, it completely fills the cup, so I don't know how much to put in there, so I end up putting too much, and I can't drink it because it's so cold. It's like it's so cold that it's hard to drink quickly.
All right, well, let me just go ahead and just say out loud what some of us are thinking that drink cold liquids, which is that we prepare ourselves for that. You're like a lukewarm guy. So
room temperature, baby.
Room temperature, babe. And so, yeah, you're not prepared. You're not prepared for what needs to happen.
The trauma that is cold beverages. Oh, it's the worst. But cachava.
Podcast listener, he just toasted to the audience with his cachava drink.
With my
Do you
cachava.
know, I got an ad. We're not surprised. Ads are everywhere. But I got an ad for cachava.
Yeah, sure.
And that's how one way you know that they're listening all the time.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
You probably said it out loud enough times in my presence that my phone's like, let's go ahead and advertise this.
My son Justin came up the stairs the other day and was like, the only ads I get now are for cachava. Would you please stop saying that word?
Cachava. It's kind of fun to mess with it, though. Like, we should, I think, let's see, what ad should we decide we're going to try to go for this? Like, let's experiment with the algorithm. What should we say in excess this week to see if we get an ad?
I don't know. What do you want ads for? Do
well,
you want any ads?
I don't care. The first thing that popped into my mind was like a sports car of some kind, but
Like a Bugatti?
But it's already going against me because I was looking at the new Dodge Charger that's coming out.
Ooh.
Have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
I know nothing about cars.
You're such a butt. I totally believed you. How did I believe you? I should know better than that.
I pulled Bugatti out of the air. Like, I knew a fancy car name.
You did. Well, the interesting thing about the Dodge Charger is before we actually decide what we're going to do, because I can't, because I've already clicked on this stuff, so I'm already in the algorithm. We have to pick up we have to pick something that's totally unexpected. Just be thinking. Okay.
Yes.
So it's an electric car, which means it doesn't make any noise. So they have added speakers that make it make noise. And it's so interesting to me.
I literally wrote a joke about this. Did not know this was a thing. Literally wrote a joke about something where it was like, oh, it was when cell phones make the camera clicking noise when you take a picture.
And there's no need for it.
There's no need for that noise. It's a psychological thing that makes people feel better. I was like, this would be like having an electric car and have it make engine noises. Okay, and I thought that was a joke.
No,
I thought that was a joke.
No, it's not. And it's like this thing, like they have external they have speakers. It's something about the way that they've done the speakers too. It's like with air. They've done it with air somehow. I don't know. I'd have to go back and look. But it was like the specialized way where they recognize that it's a little goofy, but they're also like, it's like, whoom, 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 you know, like the perfect sound of the charger.
It's amazing.
All right. So what are you thinking that we're going to test? We've got some suggestions. Yeah.
Yeah. Litter boxes.
Okay. Yeah. We don't have cats.
Incontinence kind of goes with litter boxes. If you have a lot of litter boxes around, then, you know, maybe your incontinence isn't as big of an issue.
Kazoos, just because I want to hear you try to fit that word into a conversation.
Wade Boggs Carpet World. You know, how I would celebrate going to Wade Boggs Carpet World with a kazoo. With a kazoo, yeah, definitely.
Like, you can't make a kazoo sound unless you have a kazoo. Hold on, let's try. I really want a kazoo so bad.
I do too. I was thinking, I was thinking maybe a kazoo would be kind of cool one day, but should I buy it? I'm not sure.
Are they ever on sale?
Kazoos? Is there like a kazoo world? I don't know.
I don't know.
I've gone to a couple kazoos, but
can you buy them in bulk?
All right,
let's see what happens. All right. Stay tuned. We will be testing this theory. So today we have to kind of like clip at a pace. So hi, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. We have to stay on target today because I have to leave in 40 minutes.
Hold on. I got to do something.
To make it to an appointment on time. So if you have questions that you want us to answer, pop them into the chat. I already saw one about Iris, so we'll get back to that towards the end of the show during the You question portion. And we're going to just fly, I think, today.
Yeah, we've got kind of an old school hour and we're out.
Hour and we're out. And we're out.
Yeah, so we will we'll go through it. So if you're ready to chew a dough, let's chew it.
I'm ready.
I apparently am not. Hold on.
I mean, it's interesting because you're the one who's like, let me just slurp up all this Kachava drink.
Apparently, a little dusting of Kachava has attached itself to my uvula.
So, and it's just hanging in there.
Listen, if you don't want Kachava on your uvula, listen. If there's one thing we all know,
you don't want it to be
you don't want a dusting of Kachava on your uvula. All right. So yeah, let's do the DNA in U. We will have a D topic, an A topic, and as many U topics as we can get to. Now, if you have a question you want us to answer, a topic you want us to talk about, a problem you want us to solve, a moral conundrum you would like our opinions on, go ahead and put that in the chat at any point. But if you put a U, a capital U at the beginning of it, it will draw our attention so we can highlight it for later. But Danae kicks us off with the D topic. Danae, what's your topic today?
My topic today is what childlike activity do you do in your adult life? I do this a lot, obviously, because
Wet my pants.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Your topic, Aaron. We're gonna be really clipping through the show today. I'm just gonna skip right. Are you wetting your pants?
No, I'm not.
Are you incontinent?
No, but it was
my
mentioned.
friend is incontinent. What do I do?
Use a kazoo.
Look at my new case, by the way.
It's nice.
Isn't that cool?
It's very nice. To the podcast audience, it is a mountain scene that matches the colors of her phone. It's very
nerd.
It's very pretty.
This came up because I wanted just some alone time, and I wanted it to be alone time outside of the bathroom because it turns out that's not just like a mom parenting cliche. It really is.
No.
Where you don't get time to yourself, and so closing and locking the door and little fingers coming under. I mean, it's crazy pants. So sometimes I was just like, I'm going to close my door. I'm going to have some alone time. I don't want it to be while I'm going to the bathroom. So I locked myself into my office, which can be great. I have so many things in here to do, but most of them are like adult stuff, like bills and, looking at the paperwork and assembling like the to-do list of stuff to do that week. And it feels very like, when I come into my office, it's kind of like walking onto, I've talked to friends about this before. It's like walking onto the bridge of a ship. It's like, and now I'm in my command station. And so it feels very commanding, right?
Right.
But I forgot that I brought in this cool thing that I found, which is it's a coloring book, but they're actually all stickers. And so I colored this, and there's all these like blank page, like it's just pages of stickers,
That's
and
a
you get
llama.
to draw them. So I recently splurged, and I got myself like 1,000 tiny, like microscopic 0.04 pens in all of these different colors. So I just sat here and just started like coloring, and I thought, my God, this is so nice. It just cleared my mind. I didn't color the whole book. I didn't color the whole page of stickers. I just picked one big one in the middle. And this is my daughter's. So there is a chance she's going to get to this page and say one of two things. Wow, Mom, great job. Or, but that was mine. And then we're going to have like a conversation about how I didn't ask for permission.
You could just do the parent thing and just be like, honey, I don't know if you knew this, but at the factory, to test it out, they color one page.
That's such a lie. I don't want to lie to her. That's
Imagine,
not cool.
imagine a parent lying to a child. Can you imagine? It's never happened in the history of parenting.
It's so cool. It's just this neat thing. So anyways, it just got me thinking a little bit about like the things that we do that are definitely have the kid vibe to them.
Yeah, they've got like a childhood connotation to them.
Yeah. Like you don't necessarily have to do this, but you're gonna. I think arguing with people doesn't count, just to make sure that is something children do, but we do it as adults all the time too. So
what about picking your nose? I definitely still pick my nose sometimes.
Do you eat it?
That is a personal question I will not answer here.
Oh my gosh, no.
I love just leaving it out there. I just love leaving that possibility out there for everyone.
Oh my gosh, this is like lingering in our minds. What do I do about a friend who can't stop picking their nose?
I think you stick a kazoo in there. A kazoo
inside? That's actually the new product.
Yes,
the kazoo.
The kazoo, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. While you guys answer this question, those of you who are watching live and those of you listening later that's thinking about your answer, there is a product that sucks boogers out of noses.
Oh, yeah.
Are
you talking about more than just the bulb?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like a little thing you insert into the nose, and then there's like a long tube with a suction at the end, and it helps to get the boogers out of the kid's
You use
nose.
your mouth?
You use your freaking mouth.
Amazing. That's a shortcut.
I got
Kill
it.
2 birds with 1 stone.
No, it's not meant to be. There's a little stopper, I guess, in case it's liquid. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I tried. One time I was like, I'm gonna do this. It's for my baby who can't blow her own nose right now, and it's for her, and I'm gonna do it. And I got in her nose, and I got the straw to my mouth, and I was like, I can't do it.
I do think it is hilarious. I really do think it is hilarious how much it grosses people out to think of eating boogers when you all do it every day. And I don't mean like taking them out of your nose and putting them into your mouth. I mean, just it's all connected. So you're swallowing mucus like all day long.
There's a difference. There's a difference.
The transportation vessel is different.
Once it leaves the body, it technically becomes something else. Yeah, my conversations with Iris are we don't eat things that come from our body. I feel like that's pretty good. That's a pretty good, just like clear boundary. If it comes out of your body,
I 100% agree.
Don't
in case
eat
it
it.
isn't clear.
Oh shoot! Sorry, everybody, we're grossing you out today. Apologies,
Yeah, we are.
apologies. Aaron, what do you? Do you have anything like that you think that you do in your life that's kind of childlike?
Yeah, like when I like to gross people out. Yeah, that is. No, I was trying to think of like a more like tactile version of this, but video games came to mind. But, that's kind of, video games aren't In many ways, video games are less and less of a child connotation anymore. Like if you think of video games, you almost think of adolescence more than you think of childhood, which is really interesting to me. So that's, not necessarily a great answer, but yeah, it would be stuff like that. But I was a boring child though. Like I would sit around and read all day as like a 6-year-old, 7-year-old. Like I was never an outdoors person. I always got in trouble when I was outdoors because I was always curious about things, and so like one day I climbed a tree and took every single leaf off of the tree in the middle of summer.
I'm sorry. How big was this tree? That sounds like a little bit of an exaggeration.
Okay, every leaf that I could get to. So when you looked at this tree, there was a section from like the middle of the tree down that had no leaves, and then just leaves the rest of the way up. And I was just curious, like, could I do this thing? Like, I took a hammer to our jungle gym to see how pliable the metal bars were. So I was a little bit of an experimenter, and so I wasn't. Outdoors was never fun for me to go play. It was more like, oh, let's see what I can destroy.
So because you're still an indoorsy type, I guess your life is still very childlike in that way.
Yes. No,
I don't want to go outside and play, and you're still not going outside and playing.
And maybe that's the other part of this is I do feel like I'm a fairly childlike person in many ways, both good and bad. So like there is that aspect too where my adulting has always looked a little childlike. So so yeah.
Steven says, my wife and I love going to the zoo when we have a chance, and we always stop by the wolves and tigers since they are our favorites. Well, that's a really, really good one because I stopped going to the zoo a long time ago. And the only reason I've gone back is because Iris has been curious about it. And it is interesting because you're like, that is a real lion. Like, you're a super chill lion. But I bet if you were on the other side of the cage, you probably wouldn't be as chill. But maybe I'm wrong because you've got your kibble on the inside and I'm your kibble on the outside. But do you still remember how to eat people? That's my question. And these are the things you don't say out loud when there's children standing beside you at the zoo.
Right. Yeah. At the zoo, sometimes with those predators, you just get a sense they're eyeballing you, right? Like they're walking back and forth sometimes, near the edge. And it's just like, and then you see those videos of when they all out attack the windows. Ooh. Like, where they actually jump into the windows after like a small child or something because they,
And the instincts are still there.
Yeah.
They're still there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Scary, scary stuff. Castro says, well, I bought a Game Boy Advance SP recently. I wanted some old childhood games. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. That you lost long ago. My brother once decided to get a GameCube, Sega Genesis, an Atari, like all these old systems. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he set them up in his room. So in the middle was one TV, and then there was a like cube sort of stacked bookshelf kind of a thing that it was all sitting on top of, and each cube was one of the systems. And then he had it figured out to where he just pushed a button and it would switch it all around. It was fantastic. So when we went over, it's like, which one do you want to go with? And we would choose a game system because we played Sega Genesis and we loved that. I think video games, like you were saying, Aaron, for me, that is a very childlike thing that I still really, really enjoy doing. Although it is not just childlike, but it does start then.
Yeah, and if you even if you have a Switch and you're like have that subscription that they do, the Nintendo Online subscription or whatever, they've got so many of the old NES, Super Nintendo, N64, Sega Genesis, like all those games are there, just to go play at any time you want. I was playing Dr. Mario the other day, and I was just like, I remember this so much. I would lose hours to Dr. Mario and in Tetris and those kind of games.
Ugh.
So
that game made me so mad. Is there anybody else that you saw down there? My interests haven't changed much since I was 10. I think that's probably pretty normal too, actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, like there's just a lot of things that I really enjoy doing. I still do.
There's a very specific interest that usually changes after 10. But yeah, adolescence does bring on certain kind of hormonal changes that change what we're interested in. But yes.
I don't understand. You want to explain some more?
Well, see, what happens, Danae, is when a young human comes of age, they say, the pituitary gland starts shooting out different
How do I
hormones.
get him off the show again? I forgot.
You asked. So.
Before we go on to your topic, Aaron, because again, we're kind of clipping through today. I did want to point out Lucas's very good point earlier when I said not eating things from the body, and Lucas points out what about mom's milk? Thankfully, Iris, my child, did not pick up on that because she probably would have been like,
I'm surprised
that's not
actually.
True.
I'm surprised actually that Iris didn't put that back in your face and was just like,
she may still yet.
Mom.
I'm not sure. What about whenever I was
Mom,
having your milk, Mom? What about
you
that?
literally made food for me for several years.
What about that? That doesn't explain anything. Well, she just cleverly just eats her boogers.
Yeah.
Are you ready to go to your topic, Mr.
Sure, let's go to
Daisy?
the A topic. So here's the question today, and I'll tell you where it comes from. The question is, what seems to be on constant delay in your life? Something that you maybe intend to get started, just never get started, and just seems to be on constant delay. I was watching the shuttle try to launch this morning, Artemis 1. We're going back to the moon, Danae. We're going back to the moon.
We were never there!
What's amazing is literally the last time a human stepped on the moon was 50 years ago, 1972. I think December of 72 was the last time we were actually on the moon. So, if indeed we actually were, says Danae. But yeah, so we're going back, and the idea is to do an unmanned ship to the moon, and then to test out kind of how it works, those kind of things. And then we're going to start, I guess, kind of semi-colonizing the moon, where we're putting people up there to work, to do certain things, to create a gateway to Mars, like that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's starting. We're kind of starting this next era of space exploration. That's really exciting to me. And yet it just keeps getting delayed. And they scrubbed it again this morning. And so now Friday, maybe in a month. And that just kind of got me thinking of, what are those things where it's oh, we're all ready to do this, and then, I guess we're not doing this yet. Just kind of those things in our life. So I was curious to hear what you guys kind of had in that category.
I know what mine is right away if you want to look through the comments, but I know what mine is right away.
Yeah, we can go to the comments first. Weta says cleaning. Totally think that's relatable for most people on constant delay. I love this one from Angry. I almost said Angry Orchard.
That's what I say.
Angry Ostrich. I want to take sword fighting lessons. How fun would that be? Taking sword fighting lessons.
Well, what's the delay? You got to get a sword?
So this is the thing, and this is kind of when I talk about it, because once you start to think of these things that's on constant delay, you kind of have to ask yourself those questions of, why is this on delay? Am I part of the reason this is on delay? Is there a way to, move through whatever these obstacles are and make it so this isn't something that's on delay? And yeah, so sword fighting lessons would be really fun. JCD says, constant delay. I want to write a few books I've never gotten around to, trying to figure out what being an adult is. Yeah, totally agree with that. In fact, if I had to pick one, it probably would be a book that's been lingering in my mind for 5 years now. And I just, why can't I just take an hour a week or something, or 2 hours a week, and just kind of write, and just kind of see if I can kind of, drop into this book idea that I have. And it's just I don't want to. I've got TV to catch up on. I've got movies I want to catch up on. And it's okay, so you are your own obstacle. And when you're ready not to be your own obstacle, maybe you'll do this thing, So yeah, it's interesting stuff. Kastrov says, trying to finish minor repairs on the house while also thinking about ramping up my job search ends up delaying both. Ooh, that's tough when you've got, two things battling and you end up doing neither because you keep thinking of the other one. Yeah, that's really, really tough. Let's see. There's plenty others. Danae, what about you? What did you want to talk about?
Let's talk about taxes.
Let's talk about tax, baby.
There's one thing that's been really interesting since 10 years ago, starting to share my own stories with the whole world on radio. Just, you got to embrace that you're not the only one who struggles. And by sharing your story, it encourages other people to embrace whatever they're going through. And so there's just like this beauty in just being honest about the struggle. But there's also some that you're just like, I am embarrassed with myself. And this is definitely, one of them. I can never
category.
get my tax done on time, ever. Never. I don't think I've
gotten
my
where are you at
taxes
right
done
now?
on time.
Do you have 2021 done?
No.
2020?
Yes.
Okay.
It's getting better. No, I'm the one who always delays. I'm like the October person. I'm the one that's like files for the extension.
You mean October of the next year?
No. Yes. I file for an extension. I turn it in whenever I'm supposed to for the extension. And then my poor CPA is always just like, hi. Hi. Hello. So yeah. But I think now it's gotten a lot better now that I pay someone, because I recognize that if I'm in charge of doing it myself, it will never get done. And that is very bad, because there are some things that you just simply have to do. And taxes is not something you have to do, but the consequences are very motivating to get them done. So
yeah, until we were able to find a fairly inexpensive lawn service, I would put off mowing the lawn forever
until the city shows up.
No, have literally gone to court over my lawn. So that was one that was rough. We had a fenced in backyard. I didn't realize that anybody would look into our backyard to see if it was mowed. I mowed the front.
Yeah. It's when people start to notice that there's a whole forest growing in the back that not trees, just the weeds
brush.
have actually gotten, the brush has gotten so high.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that there's like in all of these conversations, there comes that point when you just make a decision for yourself. I don't want to keep doing this anymore. Am I in the way, or is there a professional that can kind of come in and assist me? Is paying that person worth the additional cost to help me move into that next phase? And and sometimes you'll have a friend or a family member or a mentor that will be able to come in and sort of sit with you and help you kind of push through, and or just be a presence while you push through yourself, depending on kind of what kind of personality you are. And that's awesome. When someone willingly shows up in your life to help, and they don't expect anything in return but just the joy of watching you. But that's supposed to be, quote unquote, supposed to be, right? Like your parent type figure as you're growing up. They sit with you, they help you, they mentor you to learn how to make decisions. But then when you get into adult life, you hit that very hard thing of like, I want to make a breakthrough, but I either lack the skills or the devotion or the determination or the understanding or whatever it is to do it. And it can become sort of debilitating when you hit that delay over and over again, especially when you realize that the delay is not anyone else. It's actually like in your lap. So for me, it's taxes and a lot of other things that I will try to always share with you guys, because I think that it is encouraging to know that we don't all have it together, and there's just some things that are super easy for other people to do, and it's a massive struggle for me. So taxes for sure. I always delay on taxes. I don't know what it is, but I've started to do things that help me the pain later be easier. So like I at least am putting all the papers in one spot. It used to be that I just had, over the year, I would collect one big pile of paper, and I'm not talking about tax paper specifically, all paper. Every bill that came in, every piece of mail that came in, everything that was mail just went into a big pile. And then at tax season, the pain was opening up the mail that I never opened up through the year. Because it wasn't just that I opened them and set it aside. I wouldn't even open mail. I just set it aside. So now I at least open it. And if it says something important, I put it in a file that says taxes. And then we go through that later. Yes, I am adulting.
You're getting there.
Am I doing it well? Compared to how I used to be? Yeah, I think
No,
so.
I know that, man. I know that feeling. And also part of it just has to do with life. And like when we had when we had 4 small boys, like nothing got done. I mean,
Oh,
it was
gosh.
all child rearing. Like it was all putting out whatever the fire was, whichever boy had pushed the other boy over, whichever wall had a hole in it, whichever, like it was always just putting out the regular fire. So we would have a sink just full of dishes, just
Yeah.
pot, like 2 stacks high of every dish until we ran out of dishes in the cupboard, and then we're like, I suppose we have to do dishes and find some time to do that. Now like dishes like run like clockwork.
Yeah.
Like there are never dirty dishes in our house.
Right.
And
You also only have one child at the house anymore.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's amazing how seasons of life will change things.
You're talking about like all the kids. It's like putting out all the fires. Do you remember when we moved into our studio into one of the boys' rooms, and it was just like the booger picking fest? Where
yes,
what is the booger conversation today? Sorry, everybody, but we moved into one of the boys' rooms, who shall remain nameless. And I think Jen, your wife, had to take like an actual tool from the tool shed to get the boogers off the wall.
Off the wall.
Because
now,
they were just
this is clearly the best argument ever for eating your boogers, right? Like
oh
instead
my
of
God,
smearing them on the wall,
no,
instead
we're
of
moving
smearing
on.
them
We're
on
moving
the
on.
wall.
We're moving on.
See, if I hadn't trained my kids not to eat their boogers, we wouldn't have had to clean off that wall.
The algorithm is going to have booger cleaning supplies showing up. You're not wrong about that. We have something is going to happen from our advertising.
Can't wait.
Today.
Can't wait to see
cannot wait to
what
tell
it
you
is.
what it is.
Here's a good on delay, I think. Real Monkey says, probably for me, it's getting a new PC or laptop. This one is still hanging on working. I think that's good, keeping something on delay, right? Like that's one of those things where it's like, hey,
Yeah.
if it's working, why would I spend $1,000 on a new machine if this one is doing what I need it to do? To me, that's my vehicle right now. My minivan that we've been using for a decade now that is still just like limping along. It needs it needs a new catalytic converter, and we're like, nah.
Let's just see how long it goes.
And so so that's constantly on delay. Just one day it's just going to die, and it's going to be like, okay, then I guess I need another vehicle. But for now,
delays are hard too, because sometimes it ends up being that the delay is good. Like I remember feeling like there was a big delay when we were house hunting years ago, and I was so frustrated. And then the better house is the one that we ended up getting. And it was because there was a delay that we were able to see this one. So sometimes it's like, that's good. So deciding what is and isn't a positive delay is another part of it, because sometimes it's like, because of the delay, this happened. But when it's a consistent one, you got to kind of wonder what's going on there.
It's funny, you and I have similar house stories in exactly opposite ways.
Yeah.
Yours was a delay allowed you to find the perfect house. And ours was a non-delay, as in you've got 30 days to find somewhere else to live because
with
your
your family.
landlord is going to take your home back, led to us finding the absolute perfect house at the exact right time. So it's wild how that can happen sometimes. Yep.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, let's go on to the U topics for the day, if you're ready, Mr. Dicer.
There's a lot of good ones here. Maybe while you're kind of looking at those, I'll just speed through some of these because I really like some of these. Because Ates mentions changing all my passwords and using a password manager. I so relate to this one. Like I keep thinking, I need to do something with my passwords. I need to change them from 1, 2, 3, 4 A, B, C, D, and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's a really, really good one. Learning how to play golf. JCD says. Lucas says it took me 10 years to learn to play the guitar because I kept delaying the practice. So that's an interesting one, but you got there. So that's like kind of one of those like slow delays, still kind of working on it, chipping away. That's really cool. Actually, reading a stack of books that I've put off. Yeah, lots of really good stuff here. Lucas says, I'm just going to call the IRS real quick.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. I mean, I'm technically, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing to see here. Everything is going.
Man.
I have filed an extension. I am legally within my rights to not have turned my. Don't do that.
Chinchillazil says, Aaron, you just made Angry Ostrich gag, and
I
I
know.
can't stop laughing.
That's
It's so funny to me that people are grossed out by that. It's so funny
so-
to me. It's not
so
gross. It
gross.
doesn't gross
It's
me
so
out.
gross.
It doesn't gross me out.
No, it doesn't
Does
gross
it gross
me out
you?
either.
I mean, it's like, yeah, believe me, I get it. And the principle of if it comes out of your body, leave it out of your body is a great principle. Like, that's a wonderful
It's a wonderful thing to say.
principle
It's a good
to go
starting
by.
point for conversation. Just
But
a
if
good,
somebody is like chewing a cuticle or something, or chewing their
Don't eat it.
nails, or
you spit that out.
you can, but I'm just saying it's not like I'm more grossed out by chewing your fingernails than I am eating a booger.
You're not gonna
Because your fingernails are nasty. Like the stuff that's under your fingernails is nasty. The stuff that's in your nose is pretty clean for the most part, you know? So
It is trapped, like stuff from it's
it's like a pearl. It's like an oyster's
Oh
pearl.
my god! You don't eat pearls, Aaron.
Maybe you don't.
That's just like if you were a sea creature, you'd just be down there like nomming on pearls. This is so delicious.
All right. Let's get to the you questions. If you've got anything you want to let us or ask us about, now is the
goes.
time.
Yep.
We've got about 20 minutes here. We'll answer as many as we can get to.
I love this from Steven, who says, how was your daughter's first week of school? And Slab asking the very same. Thank you guys for your care of Iris. So just to put it in brief, she had a great first week of school. She started on Monday, and the first day of school for this one that she's going to is a half day. So she went in, she experienced it, she left early. We got to go eat at the park. Aaron was there.
I took pictures.
And she enjoyed herself a lot. And then went the rest of the week for full days. And then on Friday, the school had a back to school bash. So for about 45 minutes or so, all of the kids that wanted to linger and their parents or guardians or whomever that wanted to linger were able to have some treats that the school had made and see the kids play in the playground and all that stuff. And I was able to talk to both of her teachers, and they both said in separate conversations that they were really excited because Iris is a leader, and I am not surprised by this at all. So she picked up kind of the rules of the classroom and their routines and what they do. So one thing that they do is they roll out these mats for some of their concentrated focus time. And the new kids coming in, so the school doesn't start everybody on the Monday. They kind of roll them in. So some kids, their first day was Thursday or something like this, and they didn't know the routines. So Iris immediately picked up and was like, "You've got to go get your mat." And so the teachers were like, "We love that she's a leader because we need that kind of helping personality to that the kids will follow that leader. So if she's already doing what we want, now it's going to be helping her to learn the language of empathy and say." Yeah. Instead of go get your mat, say, we need to get a mat. Can I help you? And so they're going to start to help to hone her craft of being a leader. And as somebody who is a leader and was misunderstood a lot by teachers and students of being bossy, I'm just excited that this school is going to foster that kind of behavior. So she is very happy to go to school. And she's in a really cool environment where they don't stop you from doing things like taking off your shoes during recess and using them as dirt shovels. Because Iris has come home totally covered in dirt from the playground because she wanted to move dirt from one place to another, didn't have any tools, took off her shoes and used them as shovels for like 20 minutes in the playground. Her shoes are totally dirty. Everything on her is dirty. Her white socks are totally brown, and she's having the best time. And I am loving it too. So thank you for asking. I'm sure there's many, many, many stories to come. She's already had her first injury of falling in the playground. But on Friday morning, I'll say one more thing. On Friday morning, she woke up and she said she missed Miss Patty and Nana. And those are the two people that have been caring for her for 3 years. And she says, I miss them, but I don't want to go back there. I want to go to school. So
Nice.
She doesn't even want to come home on the weekends. She's like, no, I want to go to school every day and then come home because she's just having a blast. So,
oh, that's really good to hear. I know, like you said, I was privileged enough to go to first day pickup with you guys and do the picnic and all that kind of stuff. And I remember when we pulled in, she was out in the playground area already, and she saw you, and she just popped over the fence in the very first, very first thing she said was, "Mom, I'm having a great time." And
She did.
I was like, that's really great to hear. And then she asked,
Unprompted, yeah.
"Have you been here all day?"
Yes, she has wanted me to come and just hang out in the parking lot. I think probably just that anchor of knowing that I'm here somewhere for her, but she's really great. And I'm really proud of her. She's in a very independent school. They're very independent focused. Like, she doesn't get walked to her classroom. She walks herself to the classroom, even though she's brand new. So they just trust that the kids are going to find their way. And that's just going to continue to foster her very confident in her direction. So my job as mom is going to be interesting. I'm going to have to help her to understand boundaries a little bit differently because she's going to just hit all of them. It's going to be fun and scary. You guys want to talk about it for the next 10 years? Let's do it.
Yeah, nobody asked me, but my son's first day at school was really great. About 6:45 in the morning, I heard his pickup truck start up, and that's all I know about his first day at school. Welcome to how parenting changes. Yeah, it's his senior year.
Oh my gosh.
It's my youngest child's senior year. All of my children will be through high school by the end of this year. Fingers crossed. We'll be through high school by the end of this year. So yeah, there you go.
This one's from JCD. Fantasy sports, yay or nay? I'm an A.
I am a nay currently.
I'm a nay for myself. I don't know that I'm a nay for other people. Like, I know that other people enjoy it, and that's important. So it's not. I'm not naying for everyone, just personally.
It's a fun little competition if you care about the stuff involved. I was in a fantasy baseball league for a couple years with a friend who loved baseball. I knew nothing really about baseball. I mean, other than I root for the Tigers and I knew their team kind of or whatever, but I'm not like into it. And I think you kind of have to be into it to really enjoy the competition. And so I eventually didn't do that. However, after I got out of that, I started a fantasy survivor league back in the early days of Survivor and had about 50 people playing Fantasy Survivor online.
That's fun.
I built a website and everything for it and ran the league. When it's something you care about, it's really fun. Like, we would get points for picking the person voted out, who would win immunity. Like, there'd be different things you would pick each week. And at the beginning of the season, you picked a winner pick and you would get more points the longer you had that winner pick. So anyways, it was fun. But yeah, so I get it. I totally understand it. I'm just not involved enough in sports to really enjoy sports fantasy leagues.
Steven asks, have you ever been to New Mexico Balloon Fiesta? That's a very specific thing. And my answer is no.
No,
but immediately I'm curious.
Yeah, it's the first time hearing of it.
Mexico balloon.
Is this something we should make plan a trip for? Like, is this like?
Oh, it's like a hot air balloon festival.
Well, that's what I assumed. So
that's what I assumed too. But you never know because there's all kinds of balloons. Like it could just be like all the clowns
a celebration
just get together.
Of terrible mortgage rates.
Just those. I was thinking balloon animals, but that works too.
Yeah, sure.
No, but that sounds awesome. So it's October 1st to October 9th this year. So it's coming up in Albuquerque. And I'm just seeing some photos. A quick Google search. Now, please keep in mind, once again, you will now get advertisements for all the things that you need to know about this particular festival, including flights, hotel stay, rental cars. So you're welcome, everyone, for looking this up. You're now going to be...
Have you ever been up in a hot air balloon?
No.
Me either.
Don't
that
wanna.
Freaks me out. Like,
scares the crap out of me.
I am not a heights person. I literally watched a movie called Fall recently that is all about like high places, like the entire movie, and I almost walked out. Like I almost walked out. I was so freaked out.
No.
Not a fan.
No, I don't really have an interest in being that close to just like a little oopsie doodle, like
oopsie dethel.
Like a wind comes along, the bass gets rattled, and I'm free falling to my death.
Yeah.
Or my survival but brokenness forever.
Yeah.
But I would love to watch it. I think that'd be beautiful. There's actually a local here. There is a hot air balloon festival that happens, and I think it's like, maybe 10 or 15. And a weird note. We have a cave in Branson called the Marvel Cave, and it is one of the biggest attractions that's helped to kind of start a theme park called Silver Dollar City, and that city is themed around the 1800s, where when you go there, it's sort of showing you how things were done in the 1800s. So you're going to see like blacksmiths, and there's a guy right now who's building a log cabin. So every time you go, you're seeing him do the wood plank, and it's just slowly building his log cabin. Really interesting stuff. And they have a cave there. It's the largest cave entrance, I think. I don't know what you call it, but the big room, the cathedral room, is the tallest freestanding room, where it's an arch that's keeping the roof on. So it's really fascinating if you like caves, but they've actually been able to inflate multiple hot air balloons inside of this cave. So they actually brought things down in, assembled it all, and I can't remember how many balloons. Aaron, do you remember how many balloons they said?
All I remember is it's like the world record for, or the only hot air balloon flight underground, kind of thing. But yeah.
I wonder if I could do 3. I think there's 5 hot air balloons.
Jose the third gave tours there from our chat. Like he should be the expert. So Jose should be able to let us know. Yeah.
Incredible. Largest natural cave entrance in the United States. 5 hot air balloons. Yep. So if you think about it's fascinating stuff. If you're ever going to come into the Southwest Missouri area, the theme park is really, really great. But that cave is something that I've walked through countless times since I grew up in this area. So that's so cool. But anyhow, I would love to go to that festival, because I think hot air balloons are beautiful, especially like at night with all of when they're like kind of lit up by the fire. So pretty. Anyway.
Yeah, totally.
Right. Your pick on the next question.
All right. Let's see. Angry Ostrich says, you question any advice for morning sickness? It's hitting me so hard the last week, and it's miserable.
Yeah. And also, can we please stop talking about snot?
Well, you brought it back up. So speaking of snot, you brought it back up.
So I was lucky in my pregnancy. I didn't experience morning sickness, so I didn't have to look into this myself, but I've had many friends who did. And if I remember kind of what they went through, essentially it's everybody's a little bit different, but smells and flavor are really off-putting. So the idea was, while you're in that phase of morning sickness, however long it lasts, to try to eat very plain foods, but that still get the nutrients that you need. So I know one of my friends tried ginger root because that didn't make them sick, and that kind of helped to calm their stomach. But like the dizziness and all of that stuff is something that there's deep breathing exercises, and then trying to, in the midst of it all, remind yourself that it's temporary was something that another friend talked about, just like the mental. So they would listen to a podcast, like a calming podcast, and try to focus on something else just to kind of get through just how it affected them. But plain foods. So if you've probably done research already, or talked to your doctor about it, but like the same one that did like the guided meditation stuff when she was really, really dizzy, she liked those rice cakes, the plain rice cakes that there's different flavors, like there's caramel and stuff like that you can get, but she just liked the plain rice cakes. And then she also could do some kinds of jelly that was kind of more of a just purely natural jellies. So she would just do both of that just to kind of get her through. And then she also did really plain broths for a while, just to make sure she was getting some
jelly or Jell-O.
She did a jelly,
okay.
But it was
because I've heard a lot of like Jell-O is a good one too. My wife did not deal with a ton of morning sickness.
It's awful. I'm sorry.
And I'm so sorry, Angry Ostrich, that you're going through this. But she would use, if she was feeling upset to her stomach, ginger ale.
A ginger.
Some form of cracker, like you mentioned, the rice cakes, which is
she liked the rice cakes, and then another just my cousin, I think I remember it was her. She also was sensitive to temperatures of foods, so she didn't like warm for whatever reason. She just couldn't do warm, so she actually froze little broth, like a different broth that she made, like a bone broth, into ice cube trays, and she would just suck on them, and that kind of helped her. So, but unfortunately, I think from what I remember, it's everyone's so different. So in the midst of being in a miserable state, you're experimenting to get through the miserable state. And so hopefully there's people around you who can try to like bring you some things to try so that you can just be still and try to ride out the nausea.
Yeah, and focused breathing is always a good thing too. Breathing is it's amazing how many things breathing can help with.
Yeah. Which is, I think, why she listened to like meditative stuff, because there's like breathing ones where you can just like you're breathing in and you're breathing out and you're listening to like calming sounds. But then again, the sounds might make you feel strange things because your body is just going through stuff. And try to get sleep. If you can sleep and take a nap, sometimes it's your body is just, I mean, all system resources are diverted into growing a person. So your body is reacting to all those, system diversions. So if you can rest, it's such a great thing. Drink a lot of water and get some rest and keep trying things that might work for you. Especially like I loved Cliff Bars. And Luna bars, especially after I had Iris, when I got very, 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 very hungry. I've never been as hungry as I was after I had Iris. I've never experienced where I was like, I'm starving, give me food now. Like calories, just I started eating everything. And those became my best friend. I would wake up in the night starving. I'd reach over, grab a Luna bar, and just like gobble it down. So sometimes those are good too because they'll have some like nutrient rich, but the flavors could throw you off. So.
Never know.
Plain, I think is the answer for now.
Lucas says, you question, what was your first experience with YouTube? Do you remember the first video
my gosh.
you watched?
Do you remember your first YouTube video?
No, it had to be a silly video though, right? It just had to be something somebody sent in an email probably.
That's a great question. What a weird thing to try to find in my memory bank. I'm going to guess it was something to do with an adorable animal video is my guess. I wish there was a way to go back in time and see like your first
But there isn't, because
video.
when YouTube started, it wasn't like something where they were like had accounts or anything like that. Google didn't own it. Like it was just, it was just upload your videos, and it was just a way to upload your videos. Yeah.
It's such a strange thing to try to think of it, but I'm sure it was something to do with like a silly cat video or something, or something adorable. It's also interesting to try to remember what I used to watch on YouTube that I don't any longer. I recently started to revisit. I talked about this on another podcast, so apologies if this is repetitive, but I just recently rediscovered one of the channels that he makes like all natural aquariums. I'm saying all natural, although I don't know that that's how this person would actually market their channel. But she, I'm not sure. I think it's a male, but I'm not sure. Is highly particular. So fills the tank with lava rock, bores out a big chunk of a hole in the lava rock to make like a natural water spigot come out of the top. Adds in the like plant life that will help to sustain the ecosystem of the aquarium. A whole bunch of algae grows, introduces the shrimp to eat the algae, and then introduces the next, like how he does it all. And but when he takes like the algae out, like when it goes too far and it's kind of like going to tip the aquarium over into like the wrong pH or whatever, he removes all of the bits of algae with tweezers. So you're watching this very meticulous person with high resolution camera and beautiful, clean, like you're just seeing everything so close up. I've never seen a shrimp so close up. And it's just calm and quiet and peaceful. And Iris and I watched like a 30-minute video together, just like obsessed with watching this person do their craft. So
this is what YouTube looked like in 2005. Do you remember this?
oh my gosh.
Isn't that wild?
It is wild. YouTube listener, if you ever have an opportunity to go back in time and see websites as they used to be, highly recommend it. I mean, web pages just were not very pretty back in the day. It is interesting to see it. So did you go to like what site did you use?
I just did a search for what did YouTube look like in 2005. I did an image search on Google, but you could use the Wayback Machine and see
The
what
Wayback Machine, that's what it's called. Yeah,
see what you could find. That thing is really interesting. It's wild to think that there's a repository of what the internet looked like at different times. Yeah, it's interesting stuff.
I'm seeing if I can find something. The first one was Felix Kjellberg, who has most subscribers on YouTube. He became PewDiePie. He was one of the first ones. But I didn't watch any of his. And this is not helpful. This is like showing the top 10 now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not going to be helpful. That's a really fun question, though. I'd like to go down. That's like one where I would share my screen and just start searching for like the first videos that were really popular and see if one of them
the
sparked
very
my
first
memory.
video I ever uploaded to YouTube was a review of the Creative Vado HD, which was this little camera that was like, a little handheld vertical orientation camera that recorded HD video, but it was really, really simple. And I just did a quick review in my kitchen at the time, uploaded that, and it now has 100,000 views on it. It is by far the most viewed video on my channel. It was the very first one that I uploaded. So the lesson is that I didn't do a good job of expanding my technology review channel when I had the chance.
It's fine. We didn't know. We didn't know. Guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us today and for all of the Mondays that you have spent time with us here on our podcast. For the podcast listeners at home, we adore you. Thank you again for subscribing for all of these years to our Shoe the Dough podcast. If you guys want to connect with us beyond today's show, you can do so on Twitter. You can do so here on Twitch or wherever you watch our stream. I know people are watching on Facebook and YouTube and all of that. Just keep watching where you enjoy watching, and we'll keep getting together every Monday and Sunday. Next Monday, I might be a little late to the show. We'll see. I have to take Iris to school that morning, but I should be able to come back and stream as normal. So we'll see you next Monday. Anything else, Aaron?
Did you need to raid?
We're not raiding today. I'm just going to run out the door.
All right.
Today, go find your peace. Go find your people. Go enjoy Twitch if you're on Twitch, and enjoy your day, guys.
All right. See you on the next Monday or Sunday.